Okay. We've heard a lot about public digital infrastructure being the backbone. And also Mr. Mwangi, Mary Ellen says, because it's not just know your customer, it's make sure that somebody in a rural community can transact without incurring additional costs, travel time, etc. And a lot of those people are women, your constituency. So what does the future look like for those who previously have not been included?
So it's not much of a surprise that I would agree so closely with Dr. Mwangi. He's been a longtime partner of Women's World Banking, but perhaps I can just build a little bit more on his remarks. I would go so far as to say that the future that is so palpable in this room, that was talked about in all of the introductory remarks, the introductory video, your opening statement, will not be possible if we don't see all of this technological excitement and all of this technological infrastructure, including the rails that Dr. Mwangi referred to, leading directly to economic benefits, economic gains to the people in Africa. And as you say, Africa has the highest percentage of women entrepreneurs of anywhere in the world. 58% of self-employed people are women entrepreneurs across Africa. And yet, again, as the introductory video mentioned, their access to credit has barely budged, even in this period of time that we've seen such technological advance. And I'd go so far as to say that's because the way that banks, and frankly even some of the fintechs, make loans isn't in the 21st century. It's still really relying on maybe even 19th century outdated ways of thinking about collateral that women don't own, never did own, in many cases are not, unfortunately, still permitted to own. And so we have incredible data that's going across those rails. Why isn't that data being incorporated into credit scoring modules? Why isn't what we know about the way women transact, the way rural people transact, how their businesses are actually structured, how come that data isn't being incorporated into the way we think about who is bankable, who receives that golden opportunity of unlocking capital?
So I guess then the question is, fintech can build the system, but where the regulators come in and where innovation also comes in is the products. What kinds of products sit on these platforms to create the inclusion? So where can that collaboration come in from the policy point of view? The regulator needs to make sure the systems have integrity and are safe. And then we have to make sure that the citizens, all of them, those women, those young people, access. What would you suggest or recommend that they do?
For me? Okay, I thought we were moving on. Well, I certainly think something as simple as we've seen in the last few years, tremendous forward progress in the range of credit guarantees, for example. We now have credit guarantees available to many, many entrepreneurs, many businesses, both small and large, so that banks can move forward with lending. And yet, we're still really hung up in many of the countries where these guarantees are made available, in that the bank doesn't get a relief from the capital charge on that loan. They are still struggling with that same regulation. It's a technical point, it's a minor point. The central bankers in the room know what I'm talking about. But it's a fundamental gap between a very strong policy implementation. We've seen in many of the countries that Women's World Banking works outside of Africa, huge employment gains unlocked merely by the provision of a credit guarantee on top of a loan, but only if it really allows that lender to take advantage of the guarantee.
That's a good example. It's illuminating.
If I may jump with your permission, I think building that future will require massive collaboration. The sovereigns must be lead the initiative because it's public infrastructure. It's for the benefit of every citizen. But innovators, creators, must come with the products and services that the market requires or the consumer requires. But then that consumer must be protected by regulators because it is the private capital that will come and build on this public infrastructure, the layer of products that people require, and bring the diversity. I see digital public infrastructure as the new roads, railways, and airports and ports that we had in the future as enablers of economic development. The modern economy will be built on digital public infrastructure.